to set up your environment so that you can program in Java efficiently. Um, so the first thing you're gonna need is a IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. Um, and basically it has a whole bunch of uh, fun features, like automatic code completion, like and highlighting, so it's a little bit easier to read your code. So um, I'll share my screen real quick. Okay. So what you're gonna want to do is go to um, in, you're gonna want to go and look up IntelliJ IDEA. This is the IDE I use. A lot of people use it. It's got a lot of good features, and it looks pretty good. So you can just go to the downloads and download the community edition. So for Windows, community should be XE. Um, and then once you have that downloaded, yeah, can you guys let me know when you have it downloaded? Actually, here, you guys don't have to do this. I'm just, uh, all right, never mind. So, do you guys have the okay? So here. So if you open it up, it should look something here. Let's see. Um, does it look something like this, where you've got it'll say projects, customize, plugins, and then learn, and should be open on projects. This will be empty. Yeah, if you run the program, I think I'm not sure. Do they have an installer program? It's been a while since I've installed it. Okay, well, I'm going to, I guess, assume that everyone has it installed and you can open up this. Um, so, uh, so, okay, so does everyone have it installed, I guess? I, just something in the Java general chat would be fine if you don't want to speak. Okay, and it looks something similar to this. Okay, so you guys got it open. Um, so uh, first we can start by just installing or just creating a new Java project. Oh, well, one second. So just gonna start. So you can create a new project by clicking the create the new project, and you can give it a name. Um, I'll just, you know, just call it the first project. Um, Location, that should be fine. Um, Language, Java. The build system, set it as Gradle. That's something we'll go over in a couple days, what that is. So the JDK, so that's which version of Java you're running. Um, for now, it's probably okay to run with pretty much any version because we're not going to be going into specific details and like uh, stuff that would change depending on which version you're using. But it's typically it's best to use the latest um, version that you can. And since we're not going to be doing anything uh, with Spigot and whatnot into for a couple days, if you just want to use 18, you can use that. Or if you have a version already installed, then you can use that. So I'm going to use OpenJDK 18. Um, and that's pretty much it. So then you can hit create, and it will open up this interface, and you can just let it load. It's creating all the files that you need for your program. It's uh, making uh, making a couple extra files for more advanced things, but it's basically just setting up everything. So you can tell when it's done because there won't be anything down here. Um, so down here, if it'll show what sort of tasks it's doing and the progress. Um, Here is your file system. All your files and whatnot will be there. Um, this is sort of your console or your terminal, depending on whatever you want to use. Um, it'll show pretty much the output of your program down there. Uh, so that's how you can use this to create programs. There's also different plugins that you can install. So as you saw when I said create a new project, these generators down here. So there's plugins, like for instance, there's a plugin for the IntelliJ IDE that creates Minecraft plugins for you. Like it doesn't create any of the code, but it sort of sets up the project so that you can create plugins, which is sort of nice when you're doing uh, plugin development. But we'll get more into that when we actually start doing plugins. Right now, we're just gonna start with basic Java and go pretty much up from there. So if you go into your first project and then the src directory and then main, you'll see a Java file. Um, okay. If you don't have a JDK, so if you're creating a new project and this is like it says nothing, you can go to download JDK. So click on it, download JDK, and it will open up this thing, and you can select whichever version you'd like. So if you're downloading 18, you select 18. If you're doing 11, which is a common one, there's a bit different ones. You can use the suggested, like the first one is the Amazon, because different companies make different Java sort of run times, but they're all the same. They all use the same Java. They're just different implementations. So they're all pretty much the same, but I guess sort of slightly different in their inner workings, but that's not something we really have to worry about. So then you say, all right, I want the 18, then you'd hit download. It'll download it, do some loading and whatnot. So here I'll just do an example um, of 8 Amazon, and then I hit download, and it would sort of download whatnot, and then create the new version. Okay, so back to here, we're in the project, and now if you right click on the Java folder, there'll be a new copy and like there's all these things, so cut, copy, paste, whatnot. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can find different like words or files or folders or whatnot. Refactor, that's how you rename things. So if you just sort of hover over refactor, then you can rename or you can move things around using this. Bookmarks, just bookmark. Um, this stuff we'll come back to. Yeah, the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. The open in, that's how you open file. Say you want to open a file in a different program, like you want to open it in a text editor or something like that. That's how you can do open. That's how you can do that, just with the open in. Um, and yeah, most of this is, you know, a little bit more advanced than what we need. It's more finicky stuff. But for the most part, all you really need to know is new, copy and paste, refactor, and possibly open in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do new package. So a package is pretty much just a folder, but it's it's sort of weird because typically when you're like, so packages, how the naming system works is similar to a website. So it, there's a .com or .net or .org or whatnot, and then another name of like a website. But how packages work is you do um the I guess the domain. So the for me, I use net.mrgeotech because I own that domain, and that's how I use those packages. For you guys, if you don't have a domain, you can do me dot your name or um, something similar to that. Uh, it's not strictly required, but it's a best practice because once you start getting into larger programs, it it sort of starts to make sense. So I'll create a package called that, and it's all like it's always sort of backwards in how they do it. And essentially how this is, if you want to think about it in a different way, each of those dots basically is a new folder. So what it's doing is it's creating a folder called net, and then inside of that net folder is creating a folder called Mr. Geotech. And then if you add more packages on top of that that's just more folders. So it's just a way to keep your code organized. Um, then what you can do is create a new class, and let's just call it main. And the IDE will automatically call it a .java class. If you were using something like a text editor or just your plain old operating system, you'd probably have to do main.java. But the IDE takes care of that for you. You just have to put in the name, which is why it's really nice to have an IDE. So, uh, basic overview of what this is this your package. That's what we set up before. That's basically saying in the program where it is. It's in this folder. And then this is just basically making your program. We're gonna go more into what that is at a later date. Right now, we're just sort of setting everything up so that we can uh, learn in the most efficient manner. Um, so how you so for your first project, one of the first things that's always you always do is you create a hello world. And a hello world is pretty simple. All you have to do is output the words hello world to the console or terminal or whatever you want to call it. I call it the console. If you want to call it the terminal, that's the same, pretty much the same thing. Um, but that's what a hello world program is. So how you create programs in Java is you put public static vo void main string. I'll explain what this is in a second. So this is a function. Basically, it's similar to a math function. It will take in an input and it'll do it and it will give out an output. So public means that it's pretty much accessible from anywhere, and static, I guess this part, like I'll go over it. Like it might not make sense now, but once I start going over this, I think it's in on day tomorrow and day 3 I'll go over more of what all this stuff means. All we need to know is in these parentheses or brackets or whatever you want to call them, and within this bracket and this bracket, that's where code is going to be run. So you might have also noticed that when we created this code, a little green arrow or play button sort of appeared next to the code over here. That's going to run the program. So just follow this for a second. So system. Also, so see how I put an S and a whole list of things showed up? That's what I'm talking about, like the automatic code completion. So it's giving you suggestions. And if you want to if you want to use one of those suggestions, so this one I want to put the word system. So I can use the enter. So you type S, it'll show up, and then press enter, and it will automatically complete the word for you. So how you output stuff to the console is you do system dot out dot println. So anything that you put inside of here will print out. If you put a number, it'll print that out. But in order to print words, you have to put it in quotations. So if you want to the so if we want to do the hello world, you just put quotations hello world, and then inside of these parentheses, and if you hit run, you'll see right here there's a green check mark and some stuff happened here, but right here there's hello world. This stuff here is more of the IDE sort of providing some feedback. Basically, it's saying that it's starting to execute the program right up here, and you'll see that this is where it starts. It printed out, and then this is just extra code, and that's where it says it finished. Um, so that's pretty much all the Java we're gonna go over today. Um, but there's a couple of other things I want to go over. Um, so the one other thing to look into is when you're creating uh when you're creating a new plugin, it doesn't actually run. You have to use a server. So to sort of set up a server so that you can uh yeah, you have to set up a server on your computer so that you can test your plugins. So how you can do that is you go to your web browser and look up Spigot, or and I have spigotmc.org. And then if you go to I think it's downloads. Yeah. So if you go downloads, you'll see this. It's called buildtools.jar. If you click on it and download it, it should show up in your downloads folder. Um, Actually, do I want to do it this way? You know what? Here. Let's do it a different way. So, sorry. Go back to your search bar and do paper.mc.io. Okay, so it should look something like this. Go to downloads. And for now, I think what version of Minecraft or like what version of Minecraft do you want to do it? We can do any version. Uh Probably prefer us to do one of the newer versions. Do you guys care? Cuz if not, 1.19. Okay. All right. So yeah, we can do 1.19. So once you click downloads, it should already be 1.19. So then you go right here and click this and you can download it and you'll see it'll download. All right. So now you can go to it. And normally what I do is I'll go to my desktop and create a new folder, and I'll call it test server 1.19. And I'll take this file and I'll move it into that folder. So now you have your server downloaded. Now you actually have to run it. So on Windows, it's a little bit different, but pretty close to the same thing. So for me, I'm going to create a file called start.sh. But for you guys, if you're on Windows, create a file called start.bat. So you guys are going to create a .bat file. And for for um, for Mac, I think I'd have to look it up real quick. Um, yeah, I think for Mac, apparently create a start.command file. I don't know. If you have a Mac, if you're a Mac user and you need help, just let me know and I'll get on. But so you have your start.sh or start.bat file. Now open it with a text editor. So if you're on Windows, probably Notepad. Um, but so you create the text editor, and then what you need to put in there is Java dash jar, and then whatever the name of your server is. So it might be easier if you want to rename it to either just paper server, paper 1.19, or just server.jar. That's usually what I do. So server.jar, you can rename your server file so that when you go in here, so java-jar, and then the name of the file that you want to run, and then dash no GUI, and then save. So once you created that, you should, yeah, okay. So you should be able to close. Well, actually, if you're on Windows, you might want to put that at the a pause at the end of your file, so that way if something happens, like when it shuts down, it'll still keep open the terminal, so that you can still see um, what's happened, but it's not necessary to run the program. So then you can, if you're on Windows, just double click and you should see something, you should see a terminal pop up. On Linux, I have to do, uh, come on. It likes to be a pain. Ah, okay. Um, Here. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So if you're in Windows, this shouldn't be a problem. But if you're in Linux, like I am, you have to put the hashtag /bin. Also, you don't need a dash in front of the no GUI right there. You can just leave it empty. Um, but now, hopefully, I should be able to run it. Oh my god. Okay, 1 second. Is it working for you guys? Oh. Um, so yeah, if you're in Windows and you don't know how to make the file, s- um, what you can do is, oh, it's here for Windows. What you can do is if you say create a new text file, so you create a text file. It doesn't really matter what name. So then you'd take the text file, you'd put and you'd paste in your command, and then you'd say save as. Um, so yeah, you can hit save as and then rename it to start.b. B-A-T. Like a flying animal that's black. So then you hit save and then you start it. But for me, I just use a start.sh. So if you create the file, then you should in Windows you should be able to just double click the file and it'll start your server. Is that does that work for you guys? There should be a black sort of window with white text. As long as it's working for you guys. Yeah, you can share your screen. Okay, yeah, you've got your paper file downloaded. So then, okay. So now, um, hit X out of that. Okay, now, yes. So right click on the file, or yeah, go up to the view in your um. So in your file viewer, like what is it called? If you go to the top of the where it says File Home Share View, go to View and then hit um, File Name Extensions. It should be under the Show and Hide near the right side. Yeah, File um, over a bit more. Yeah, File Name Extensions. Yeah, click that. Okay, now go down to your start.bat. Now, so first, yeah, open up the file and then put in the command Java. So type in Java dash or Java space dash jar JAR space and then put the name of your server. Put the name of your server file. So paper dash 119.31. Yep. And then space no GUI as one word. So NOGUI. Yep. And then hit or wait, no, not A, just GUI. Yep. And then hit file save as. Save as. And then go down to the bottom and hit save file type. Change that to so it says save that change that to all files and then remove the .txt at the end of the file. Yep. And then hit save. Now if you go to your file explorer, now the start.bat, it's now double click on it. Oh. Here, oh my gosh. So right click on the start.bat file and then hit edit, I guess. Yes, and then at the end of the file, hit enter and then put pause, the word pause. Yep, and then hit save. You don't have to save as, you can just control S or whatever you have to do. Yep, and now run it so I can see what it's doing wrong. Huh. Okay. Alright, I guess it's going to be a pain in the butt. Alright. So, now we get to not only install the server, we also get to install Java because Windows is a fun program. So if you look up Java on your thing in your, in Google. Um, the first link, and then download Java. So yeah, Java, download. Um, so yeah, pretty sure. Okay. No, 1 second. All right. Yes. Okay. So sorry. Go back to your Explorer. Um, look up Java space 18. Then the first link should be to Java dash or Java space now in the search bar of Google. Yeah. Yep. Download. Um. Yep. So Java and then Windows. It should yeah, right there. And then the second one, the x64 installer. Yep, right there. It should download, and then you can run that once once it's installed. So okay, yeah. Now run the JDK-18. Yep, that one. So you should just be able to double click. Next. Next. So yeah. Okay. So yep, now you can hit close. And now go back to your server folder. Now try double clicking on the start.bat file again. Yep. So if you see downloading mojang underscore 1.19.jar, that means that your server is running and now it's sort of setting up the server. So does anyone else have any problems right now that they need help with? And as for Ronox, this lesson is just basically setting up the um, yeah. One second. No, it's just wrong on so many levels. I yeah. Okay, so yeah, once you have your server up and running, all right. So yeah, it'll probably say failed to load EULA.txt. So if you can close the window by pressing any key on Windows or that. So then there'll be a EULA text document. You have to double click on that and set false to true. And then once you've done that, you can save the file and then run the thing again. You can delete the, yeah, that one. So now it'll be starting your server. Okay, so once it'll say something along the lines of um, so here it'll load all the libraries, it'll prepare the world, and then it will say something along the lines of done, timings reset. And that's how you know you started your server. So once you got that, um, you should be able to launch Minecraft if you want, and you should be able to join your own server. Yep. So, um, how you join the server is pretty simple. All you do is you um, launch your Minecraft version. Uh, you have to, yep. So you have to be using, make sure you're using 1.19. They have to be your server version and your Minecraft version. If you want to join, have to be the same version. So yeah, once you have your thing, how you can join your servers, you can hit add server. You can call it whatever you want. Um, I call it like local server or something like that. And how you can connect to it is local host colon you can so there's two options. You can put either just localhost or you can put 25565. They're the same thing, just like they accomplish the same thing, but yeah, the numbers are your port. That's something if you get into Minecraft servers you can deal with, but that's not really going to be covered in this because this is more about the actual coding plugin side rather than the um, running your own Minecraft server. So now that you added it, it should say a Minecraft server. It should be 0 out of 20, and you should have a really good ping. So you can join it. See this world. Um, One thing you might want to do is go into the console and type OP and then put your name. So or your username. So for mine it would be Mr. Geotech. And now it will make you an operator. So now you have all the permissions, all the commands. So now you can do stuff like so now you have your server running and you're ready. You can make your plugins and whatnot. Mm. Oh God, it's a lot like script. Hmm. So now to stop your server, what you can do is just go to your console and type in stop, and it'll stop your server. And if you have the word pause in there, it'll say something along the lines of press any key to continue or to exit, something along that line. Um, oh, what's that? Looks like an error. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think that's something to do with it's a new Minecraft version and they haven't ironed out all the bugs because that looks like something that's a little that's not because that yeah. So once you stop, it'll be saving and then it'll say flushing chunk IO and then it'll have something saying um press any key to continue or something to that effect. So you can press a key or you can just exit out of the window. So now you have your Minecraft server that you can now use to test plugins and um, uh, have fun with, just experiment, just sort of see what you want to do. So now I think that's the most part. The last thing I want to teach today is is not really something that is very teachable, but it's something very important, and that is how to Google things. Um, because when you're programming, Google is essential. Um, so I'm gonna teach it now, and that way you guys can use it throughout the course. And when you go on to program whatever plugins you want to program, it's uh, so yeah, you can see press any key to continue, and then if you press a key, it'll close the window. So um, let's let's say I was starting off as a new player and I was not, or as a new developer, and I wanted to know how to start a Minecraft server. One of the great ways to figure out how to start a Minecraft server is to literally just look up how to start a Minecraft, or like how to create a Minecraft server. And there's tutorials, there's videos, there's everything. But let's say I had a little bit more of a like a different kind of problem. So uh like the Steph bomb, you had an issue, like you had a error pop up in your console and you wanted to know how to fix that error. What you could do is look up, like literally just copy and paste the error and look it up. But sometimes that doesn't result in the result, or like that doesn't give you what you need. Um, so you might have to look a little bit deeper into the error, which I'm also going to teach probably near the end. But some of the great places to look things up that you need to know is, first of all, Google. If you just have a problem, say I wanted to know um, what is a variable in Java, which is something we'll go over tomorrow. So you can just look up what is a variable in Java, and you'll get a whole bunch of results. And I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that it's perfectly fine to look up things when you're programming. Like, you don't have to remember all the little details and whatnot. Yeah. Um, and some of the best places to look for help specifically with Minecraft plugins is the Spigot webpage. Um, so right here under Wiki, then you go to Spigot, and there's all sorts of stuff about how to install, how to configure, um, like commands, um, like your configuration, tips and tricks, all sorts of things, how to download. And then the very important part is the developers. And the two that I most often go to is the plugin development and plugin snippets. These two. So these contain sort of tutorials on how to do things. So let's say I want to create I don't know, um, so the Spigot plugin development is more of setting up your plugin development like environment. So there's creating blank plugins in your different editors. There's creating a config file. Um, you know, how do you learn Java? That sort of thing. Whereas the plugin snippets, this is more of let's say uh, how do you create a simple command? It's right here. Like they'll show you sort of step by step how you can do it. So if there's something that you sort of if you forget or you just want a refresher, you can always come to here. Um, One of the things I always look for is working with configuration files. So if you're doing a custom configuration file, it's really easy to just copy and paste code. That's another thing. Don't be afraid to copy and paste code. Everyone does it. That's how you get like that's how you make good programs. You copy and paste. Um and another good website, Stack Overflow, that is the place for developers. Um Pretty much every question to do with programming has already been answered. You just got to know how to look for it, and Stack Overflow is a place to look for it. Um, if you got any question about pretty much anything, chances are it's already been answered. So it's really a really good tool, and make sure like usually it's one of the first results that comes up if you search up an error. So it it's definitely something that you should utilize. Um, Other than that, I don't think I have much else for today. Tomorrow, I guess I'm going to go over uh what basically go over the actual running Java and actually programming a program in Java. Today was more of a let's get you guys sort of introduced, sort of set up, ready to go. And I get now tomorrow is when we actually sort of start and I guess get your hands dirty and actually make some programs. So um also um uh I'm gonna be busy a little bit tomorrow, so um it's gonna start at 1 o'clock. I get here I'll post the time in the chat. It's gonna be an hour later. That's when we're gonna start instead of whatever time it is now in your time zone. We're gonna start an hour later tomorrow. So that's pretty much it for today. If you have any questions, you can ask them. I'm probably gonna be available for most of the day, so you need any help, like if you can't quite figure out how to get your server to start, or you can't figure out how to get Java installed or something like that, you can just let me know, and I can help you. We can get in the VC or something like that. So other than that, that's pretty much it for today. So thanks.